Hi, I'm Susan Abramson. I grew up in Newton, Massachusetts, graduated from Brandeis University and Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion. I'm one of the first 50 women ever to be ordained as a rabbi and the longest serving female rabbi in Massachusetts, having served Temple Shalom Emeth in Burlington since 1984. I'm the author of Challah, A Jewish Guide to the Torah, and the Rabbi Rocketpower series of Jewish children's holiday books, featuring my alter ego, Rabbi Rocketpower, the first ever female rabbi superhero. I'm the chair of Burlington's Interfaith Clergy Council and a member of other local clergy associations. We've been working on issues of diversity in our towns and our country for decades, but it seems that over the past couple of years we've been fighting an uphill battle. We've been called upon too many times to speak out against prejudice, bigotry, and hatred. I decided to offer this program as a way to educate us all about each other's faiths, traditions, and cultures. I believe that the best way to dispel myths and stereotypes and simple misunderstandings is by opening the door and getting a glimpse into each other's backgrounds. Each episode will zoom in on one particular faith or ethnic group. We'll take a virtual tour inside each of our religious institutions, meet the clergy and members of that community, see different rituals and religious objects, and maybe hear a little music, do a little cooking, as well as learn about basic beliefs. We'll have interfaith panel discussions on hot topics like life after death. This is my own little personal attempt to bring shalom, salam, shanti, peace to our world during this challenging time. I'm hoping this will help us see how much we have in common and feel enriched by the colorful fabric of our multicultural community. Welcome to Spiritually Speaking.
Though the time be far, I know that come it will, when each nation shall each other bless, peace the earth shall fill. God shall reign over the earth on that day, God shall be one, your name it shall be one. And on that dawn of peace we'll smash the spear of war, and everyone beneath their vine and fig will be afraid no more. God shall reign over the earth on that day, God shall be one, your name it shall be one.
In today's episode, we are going to explore Judaism and take a tour of Burlington's only synagogue, Temple Shalom Emeth, which is a liberal Jewish synagogue, part of the Reform movement. I'm excited to be able to introduce you to our cantorial soloist, Ben Silver, and hear our Rock and Ruach Temple Band perform a couple of songs. We're going to watch someone read from an actual Torah scroll, take a peek inside a Jewish prayer book, which we call a Siddur, learn little snippets about Judaism from members and leaders of the temple community of all ages, and even hear Steve DiOrio, our past president, blow a shofar, which is a ram's horn, which he does on our high holy days. But first, it is my pleasure to introduce Phyllis Burlow. We call her our temple matriarch. She will give us a brief history of our congregation and how it came to Burlington. Phyllis, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. As early as 1906, a small community of Jews lived in Woburn. They decided eventually to purchase a building and made a deal with the owner of a tannery on Green Street. That became the Woburn Hebrew Center.
So how did the temple come to be located in Burlington?
Well, by the late 1960s, the Woburn area Jewish community had declined. About the same time, a group of young Jewish women from Bedford, Billerica, Burlington, Tewksbury, and Wilmington came together and became friends. They wanted a more structured way to practice their Judaism and their Jewish heritage, and to perpetuate Judaism for the families living in the area. And so they formed the Shawshene Valley Jewish Community Center. That organization came to the attention of Bernard Nelson, who was the lay leader of the Woburn Temple. He brought those two groups together in 1970.
So how did the temple come to be on Lexington Street in Burlington?
3 families each put in a small amount of money and submitted a bid for a piece of property at 14 Lexington Street. On that property was a small older home and a pasture, a fenced-in pasture where horses used to graze. Around that same time, St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Burlington was giving away the portable building they had used as their sanctuary for 10 years. They heard we were in need of a building for a similar purpose, and happily they gave it to us. We took it apart and rebuilt it on that pasture. And in 1980, we bought the temple's newer building next door at 16 Lexington Street. So now we use all 3 buildings for our services and our school.
Thank you so much, Phyllis, for that brief history of our congregation. And now let's go over to the temple and see what's inside. This is the front door of our temple, and we warmly welcome you to come on inside and join us as we give you a little bit of a tour about what a Jewish synagogue looks like. Come on in. Welcome to the front hall of our temple, and we are now going to explain to you some of the unique features that you'll find in the front hall of a Jewish synagogue.
Hi, my name is Lily, and today I'm going to be talking about the mezuzah. The mezuzah is the Hebrew word for doorpost, because the only place you will ever see a mezuzah is on a doorpost. Inside the mezuzah is a scroll with Hebrew written on it. A mezuzah serves as a reminder that God is always with you inside and outside of your home.
This is a kippah, or these are kippot, and we wear them on our heads when we go to services or pray. They come in all sizes and materials, and we wear them like this.
My name is Michael. The talit is a prayer shawl. We wear the prayer shawl during daytime services or when we lead a service from the bimah. On the end of the prayer shawl, there are fringes and knots known as tzitzit. These tzitzit remind us of the 613 mitzvot.
This is a Jewish prayer book, and it's called a siddur. And this is the most important prayer in the Jewish prayer book, and it's called the Shema. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. And this is how we chant it. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
So come on in, and this is our sanctuary. This is the place where we hold all of our worship services and our religious events. And as you can see, we have chairs lined up, but we can move them around in any sort of configuration we want.
This is the bimah. The bimah is comparable to the altar in the Christian religion.
These are the candles that we light at the beginning of our Sabbath and all of our holidays and festivals. They signify the beginning of the holiday, and the lights signify keeping lights in our hearts and our minds.
Above me here, we have the Ner Tamid. The Ner Tamid in English means the eternal light. It signifies that God's presence is always with us.
This is our holy ark. It's the centerpiece of our sanctuary, and in the ark we have the Torah. The congregation rises when we open the ark curtain and reveal the sacred Torah scrolls. Each scroll is identical. They all contain the 5 books of Moses. We gently lift the Torah scroll as we sing about how God chose us to receive it. After carrying it around the room, we remove the silver bells, which are called the rimonim, take off the yad or silver hand, which we use to keep our place when we read from the scroll, then undress the fancy cover. The belt around the middle is called a wimple. Then we lay the scroll gently on the table. We unwrap the wimple so the scroll can be opened to find our place. Now the Torah scroll is ready to be blessed before it is read.
My name is Carissa, and today I will be reading out of the Torah. The Torah is a scroll which contains all of the ancient Jewish stories and beliefs. Today I will be reading the first verse in the Torah portion, Bereshit. Bereshit is a particular story in the Torah, and it's actually the first. This story, Bereshit, explains the beginning of creation. Since the Torah is written in Hebrew, I will be reading the Hebrew, which translates to how God was able to create the earth in just 7 days.
And this is a yad. Yad is the Hebrew word for hand, and we use this to read out of the Torah scroll, which is handwritten by somebody called a sofer, because a Torah scroll is considered to be a sacred document because it's the word of God and it's perfect, and so we don't touch the Torah scroll with our hand. Before we read from the Torah, we say a special blessing, thanking God for having chosen us to observe this special ritual.
Baruch hu et Adonai Havarak, Baruch Adonai Havarak Leolam Vaed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher barakar banu mikol ha'amim, V'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz, ve'ha'aretz hayita tohu vavohu ve'chosha al pnei tehom, ve'ruach Elohim marchafet al pnei hamayim, ve'yomer Elohim yehi or vayhi or, ve'yar Elohim et ha'or ki tov, ve'yavdel Elohim bein ha'or uvein ha'chosha, vayikra Elohim la'or yom v'la'chosha kara laila, vayhi erev vayhi voker yom echad.
After attending Hebrew school here at Temple Shalom Emeth in 2003, I began studying very hard to become a bar mitzvah. Bar mitzvah means son of the commandments. Bat mitzvah means daughter of the commandments.
I became a bar mitzvah in 2016. Reaching the age of bar bat mitzvah signifies becoming a full-fledged member of the Jewish community.
Hi, I'm Myrna Saltman. When I was a young girl growing up in the Orthodox community in Revere, only boys were bar mitzvahed. And in the early 1980s, I belonged to Temple Israel in Natick, where the famous Rabbi Harold Kushner for the first time offered adult women the opportunity to become a bat mitzvah. And I leaped into the occasion. I found that it meant more to me as an adult to accomplish that than it did to my own 3 children who had been bar and bat mitzvahed. And then, 4 years ago, when I was 74, I completed a second bat mitzvah because I have 7 beautiful grandchildren, and I wanted them to know that it's never too late to learn, and any time is the right time to become Jewish.
My name is Veronica Savage. Shortly after birth, Jewish children are given a Hebrew name. As a transgender woman, I was given a male Hebrew name. Now that I'm living authentically as a woman, shortly I will be having a ceremony so that I can be given a female Hebrew name and live authentically in all aspects of my life.
Did you know the most important tenet of the Jewish faith is that we believe in only one God?
Did you know that there's a big difference between the Jewish Bible and the Christian Bible? The Jewish Bible consists of 3 parts, the Torah, which is the 5 books of Moses, the prophets, and the writings. The Christian Bible has, on the other hand, the Old Testament, which includes all of the Jewish Bible, and the New Testament as well. So Jews do not believe in the New Testament.
Hi, I'm a Temple member. I also happen to be an Episcopalian. As an Episcopalian, I believe that Jesus was Messiah. But for people who are of the Jewish faith, they don't see Jesus as the Messiah. They see him as a good teacher, a good person.
Did you know that while a lot of people refer to a Jewish synagogue as a church actually references a Christian place of worship? We Jews call our place of worship a temple, because that's what it was referred to as in Jerusalem. where Jews originally worshipped. Another way of referring to the temple is by calling it the synagogue, which translates to place of assembly. Sometimes, smaller synagogues will refer to themselves as shuls.
Did you know that there are Jews in most countries of the world, and we're all loyal citizens of the countries in which we live, but we also have a special affinity for all other Jews who live all over the world?
It's true. Did you know that while we are loyal to the nations in which we were born, we all have a particular affection for the state of Israel?
Did you know, as Jews, our ultimate goal is to do mitzvot, which are good deeds, which we hope will leave the world in a better place than the way we found it, and that's called tikkun olam, which means repair of the world.
I now introduce to you our temple band.
My name is Ben Silver, and I'm the cantorial soloist here at Temple Shalom Emeth. I have with me our temple band with the name Rockin' Ruach. We would like to do a song which is a staple song from our Sabbath or Shabbat liturgy, and this song means basically grant us peace. The translation is, may the one who brings peace to the heavens also bring peace to those of us here on earth. Oh, say shalom, Imroma, Booyah, say shalom, Aleinu, V'yakol, Yisrael, V'imru, V'imru, Amen. Oh, say shalom, Imroma, Booyah, say shalom, Aleinu, V'yakol, V'yakol, Yisrael, V'imru, V'imru, Amen. Oh, say shalom, V'imroma, Booyah, say shalom, Aleinu, V'yakol, Yisrael, V'imru, V'imru, Amen. Oh, say shalom, V'imroma, Booyah, say shalom, Aleinu, V'yakol, V'yakol, Yisrael, V'imru, V'imru, Amen.
Did you know that in the Jewish faith, all holidays, including the Sabbath, start on the sunset the evening before the holiday and end sunset the day of the holiday?
Shabbat starts on Friday night and ends at Saturday night.
We say 3 blessings before we start our Shabbat meal on Friday night. The blessing over the candles, the blessing over the wine called the Kiddush, and the blessing over the challah, which is called the motzi.
The most important and most holy of Jewish holidays are celebrated generally in the fall of the year, commencing with Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year, and it begins the days of awe, which last for 10 days, culminating in Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, and the most holy of the Jewish days of the year. Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, is a fasting day, and it is a day when we repent for our sins.
Hi, I'm Steve DiOrio. I'm here to share with you the tradition of blowing the shofar. Every year on our highest of holidays, Rosh Hashanah, our New Year, we blow the shofar, and we also blow it on Yom Kippur to close out that holiday. When we blow the shofar, it's some strict notes that are used, and I'm going to explain those to you really quickly. The first one is a tikiyah. Tikiyah is a note that's meant to call the congregation together. It's about 4 seconds long, and it's one continuous note. It sounds like this. Awesome. The second one is shivarim, which is 3 broken notes. It symbolizes that our world is not perfect, and it is our job as God's creations to help repair the world. Shivarim. And then the last note, the second to last note, is the teruah, which is 9 broken notes. It is an alarm to call attention to needing to make repair now. And finally, we close out the blowing of the shofar with a Tikiyah Gedolah, which is a long note.
The days of awe are then followed by Sukkot, which is the celebration of the harvest. Rounding out the end of the Jewish year is Simchat Torah, which celebrates the coming to the end of the reading of the Torah.
Did you know that Hanukkah is not the Jewish Christmas? Yes, it is true that it takes place at the same time of year, but Hanukkah actually means rededication, rededicating the temple. In ancient times, we have latkes, we light candles for 8 days, and we have lots of fun playing games like dreidel.
Tu B'Shvat is the New Year of the trees. It is when spring begins in Israel.
Purim's our most fun holiday of the year. We read the biblical book of Esther and celebrate our victory over the evil Haman, who tried to destroy the Jewish people. We present the story in creative ways called spiels, have carnivals, and send gifts of food to each other and the needy. Here are some of our favorite Purim traditions.
We make the Hamantaschens. Hamantaschens are cookies. Cinderella dress on, and I put the Cinderella shoes on, then I put a crown on, and then I asked Mom to zip up the costume.
On Purim, we throw noisemakers that are grog that we call groggers.
I'm going to talk a little bit about Passover, which is a holiday which generally comes in the spring of the year. It is a holiday that is celebrated generally in people's homes as opposed to in the synagogue, where most of our other very important holidays are celebrated. It commemorates the freeing of the Jews fleeing from the Pharaoh in Egypt. In their haste to leave, they did not have time to bake bread or to allow the bread to rise, so they took unleavened bread, which is called matzah, and it is eaten for a period of about 8 days.
Did you know many Jews who keep kosher follow certain dietary restrictions that do not allow them to eat milk products at the same time with meat, or they cannot eat shellfish or pork products? All meats are inspected, ritually slaughtered, or certified to be kosher. These kosher laws are written in the Torah.
Did you know that our temple is governed by a volunteer board of directors that makes all of the decisions for the temple on behalf of its congregants? We are a self-funded organization, and we do not have any outside funding.
Did you know that no flowers are allowed at Jewish funerals at all, because flowers are a signal of life at a ceremony of death? We actually place rocks instead to remember the dead.
Thanks so much for joining us, and thanks to everyone who helped share an aspect of our temple, our faith, and traditions. We were only able to just scratch the surface, but hopefully we answered some of your questions and helped increase your understanding of Jews and Judaism. Our temple community is like one big extended family. We've got a lot of great programs for all ages, starting with a baby group, religious school for kids ages 3 through the 10th grade, youth groups, adult ed, and a free as a bird group for empty nesters. If you'd like to find out more about us, contact me by email or at the temple, or like us on Facebook. Upcoming shows will feature local churches, the Islamic Center, and the Hindu community, and those of other faiths in our area. We leave you with a song for peace, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. It expresses the hope that peace will yet come to us and includes the Arabic word salam in addition to shalom. May we all be blessed with peace.
Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Salam, aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Salam, aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Salam, aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Salam, aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Salam, aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Salam, aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, ve'al kulam.